Hello YouTube, it's Sam from Sam's Garden Maintenance. And in this video today guys, I've had a good look through my van and I've had a hunt around for all the pairs of safety glasses I currently own and use. And I want to tell you what I think's the best, because you can spend quite a bit of money on them. And I'll be honest with you, I almost see safety glasses as disposable. Not as in single use, but the thing is, they end up getting scratched, the lenses do. Unless you look after them, you know, put them in a nice little baggie. I normally end up just putting them on the top of the dash. I don't know whether the sun sort of washes them out, or, you know, if I put them in my pocket, they get scratched. But the lenses ended up getting scratched and dirty, so if you put them on and sun hits them, you can't see through them properly. And you know, and there's nothing worse than no eye protection, if I'm being honest with you. There's certain jobs which I see so many people doing that they don't have any sort of eye protection on, and I just think, why? You know, we only get one pair of these things, and you know, we need them. So normally it's strimming. The amount of people I see verge side strimming with no eye protection, you know, or even ear protection, but more worryingly it's the eye protection. So as I said, and you know, we've all had near misses with strimmers. I've had it where I wore glasses and literally things have pinged off the lens, and or if I've had a visor and I thought, you know what, thank God I wore that. Another one is hedge trimming. I'll be honest with you, it's I'm, you know, a bit of a hypocrite at times with this, because there is times where I will, you know, just flash over it and not put glasses on. But as I say, I try to, because the amount of times things can be flinged back, then, you know, it's quite important. Obviously we don't, you know, we can't always wear them, but I think some things that help us to, as if they're comfortable, and you know, you can carry on wearing them all day, you know, day in, day out. Now, I'm not a sunglasses sort of dude, you know, I don't rock up with permanent sunglasses on, so I actively have to sort of make, you know, a note to put them on. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's good issue to sort of wear them, you know, even when you're not working with power tools, so you can just keep them on your head. That's where they're going to stay clean. So I've sort of factored all this in. So the pairs I started out with were the Still ones. Now these are very expensive for what they actually are, but there is adjustability. Now if you're thinking about buying them, I'd say go for them, but the lenses, they pick up scratches and scuffs very, very easy. And there's nothing worse, because like I say, PPE is only good when it's on your body, basically. There's no point having a flashy pair sitting in the van while you're getting, you know, thorns in your eyes or stones in your eyes. You need to want to wear it, and it needs to be comfortable. Now I personally don't think these are very comfortable. Another thing with them is that little orange blob snaps off. So when that snaps off, this just sort of dangles up. So that's basically the pair knackered, other than if you put a bit of hot glue, that's what I've done to fix them. But not this pair, and not this pair, another pair. Now they are good, as I said, they are comfy-ish. Now the thing what does it, and I'll tell you about this later on in the video, for me, I like wearing muffs while I'm working. I've got like the ISO tunes, and they're a separate video in itself, because they're very love and hate. There's lots of people asking about them. Me personally, I haven't had much problems with mine, but they do break. But because I wear earmuffs, I find that anything with a thick sort of strap, just sort of, it opens them up just enough to let noise in from a tool. And I think that sort of, you know, defeats it. Now I listen to podcasts and music, so just by having, you know, that outside noise just creeping in because of this strap, it's enough that I think, you know, I don't like wearing these, but I will if I have to. Now they are good. Now I bought these Dickies, and I'll be honest with you, they aren't that good. They've got like a foam gasket, but they don't sit on your face very well. And I've got a really big head, like, you know, and not to the extent that I'm out of proportion, but I have a very big hat size. And you'd think these would be snug on somebody with such a huge cranium, but they aren't. So I dread to think what they'd be like with someone with a smaller head. So again, these tend to sort of fall off. And a little gusset, you know, a little bellows thing here, that's all right. It's a good idea, but it only works if you cinch quite high up, and I can't get them to. So I keep these in the workshop. That's why they're actually in pretty good condition, because I've not destroyed them yet in my van. Now, these bad boys, they are actually really, really good. They are. Again, I've noticed the lenses, I don't know why, but they just seem to hold scratches and stuff. But these are quite expensive for what they are. But they have got these little bellows again, and they do come with a little neck strap. And you can actually wear them like a safety goggle, where it'll actually pull them into your head. And these are actually not bad once you sort of get used to that feeling. You've got to get the tension right, you've got to faff, but then it's a faff getting them on and off. You know, the little strappy thing, I've lost one, so I've had to use one from another pair. So they are good. Now, I don't know what, I presume all of these have gone through some form of safety standard. You know, because they're a recognised brand, they've all probably gone through some rigorous testing. So I'm assuming all of these are fit for purpose, as in, if a stone hits them, I'm not going to get a stone plus plastic fragments in my eye. These should stop it. So hopefully, you know, these are actually what they are, but they should be, because they're from good brands. But I think the absolute best one, and what I really like wearing, and I'm not, you know, plugging for them, because I do have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it, is the Ego ones. Now, these are cheap as chips. I think they're under a tenner, and if you buy a few pairs, the bloke normally knocks a bit off for me. So I think they're about £7 or £8 a pair. Now, these are, I think, one of the most comfortable eye protection out there. They're very low profile. I actually enjoy wearing them, and I actually don't mind wearing them all throughout the job. Now, as I said, I'm not a sunglasses dude, so I do take, you know, normal sort of eye protection. I'll put it on when I need it, off when I need it. But it's when you take it off, put it in your pocket, and you've got that just that last little bit that you'll think, oh, I'll just edge that, you know, I'll just fire a strimmer up, and you're sort of half squinting, safety squint style. That's when it's going to get you. But with these, I actually, you know, think they're actually quite comfy. Now, safety protection, like I said at the start of the video, it's only good if it's on your body. So find something that's comfortable. Now, somebody might say, yeah, fucking hell, Sammy Dickies, I think they're brilliant. Yeah, stick with them, wear them, you know. Oh, the still ones are the best. Well, yeah, if that's what worked for you, do it, wear it, because trust me, you know, no one wants to lose an eye. It's not fun. But as I said, the Ego ones, I think, are actually really, really comfy. And for the price, and like I said at the start, I try and look after my stuff as best as I can, but I'll be honest with you, my van and life is like a bit like a grinder. Everything just ends up getting broken. So, you know, I do end up going through quite a few pairs of these. But the best thing I actually really like about them, and I do have to sort of modify them, is these don't interrupt when you've got muffs on. So I have like the noise cancelling muff. So like I said, if you break the seal on them, or, you know, there's a little gap, you start having, you know, outside noise come in, and it just defeats the object of them. But these don't do that. Now, what I do to make it so we don't do that is a new pair, and these little things here, I take them off, and they normally just slide off like that. Now, that for me doesn't dig in, it doesn't bother me. Okay, it would be miles more comfortable with that on, but this itself does not physically bother me. I find this is easier to put on and off again. So, because you've got the muffs on, you know, sometimes if a customer comes out, you take the muffs off, and, you know, you take the glasses off, or in between jobs, or you know what I mean. This, because it's so narrow, it just fits on and off easy. So I can leave my muffs on, and I can push these through so much easier than, say, if I had these on. or this style that will get snagged up and hooked on. And as I said, all this here, all these, is it's another reason to keep them on you, because it's easier. It is. The last thing you want is to be, you know, unplugging, taking stuff off, you know, trying to faff around with these. You know, these you can push on and push off so much easier. So that's why these are my, you know, pick of the litter when it comes to safety glasses. I think Ego ones, they're the best I've ever used. As I say, I always try and buy a few pairs. Now, when you're starting out, or even if you're a hold at it, you know, buy more than you need and just dot them around in the van. I tell you what else I do, and it's another little tip for you. I try and keep them in a sock. I know it sounds weird, but I'll put them in a sock and then I'll hang the sock up in my van. Now, that just sort of stops the lens getting as knackered, you know, as they do. It's, you know, it keeps the dirt away from them. And, you know, if you've got an obvious sock, come on, you can fucking spot them, can't you? So, just a few little tips for you. Make PPE where you actually want to wear it. Make it as comfy as you can. Don't faff around, you know, with like something that's uncomfortable. It's like the stuff you normally get free with a tool, like Still normally give you a pair of safety glasses free with stuff. They, I have found, are good for the first time you use them, and then they get instantly scratched and scuffed and they're shit. But these actually do sort of last a bit longer. But even if they don't, like I said, these are disposable. For the price, you know, I would rather go for a pair of these a month and make sure I've got fresh pairs which I can stick on my head than trying to persevere with something that's twice as much money. And in my experience, is not as good. As I said, PP, I'm going to keep saying this, is only as good when it's on your body. There's no point having, you know, the best PPE in the world and it's sitting looking lovely in the van. You need it on your body, guys, because if we lose an eye, we lose a hand, you know, we lose a hearing. You know, it might be cool now to sort of run around with no PPE on, but when you're in your 50s and you can't breathe properly because you didn't wear a face mask, or, you know, you can't see because you lost an eye streaming, you know, it's not cool then. So, as I said, guys, safety first, but that's what I think. The Ego ones, I will try and put a link. I had trouble finding these online. I don't know why, but there's the little thing, GS002E. If you can get them from your dealer, trust me, buy a load and just whiz them around your van. You will thank me later.